Good evening, ladies. Thanks for showing up. My name is George. I work here at the co-op, and we're going to try to do something here. We're going to do a little seminar on ladies and power tools. Now, we've never done anything like this before, so bear with us. We might not cover everything, but we're going to do our best. We're going to start out simple. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to raise your hand, and we'll try to answer them as well as we can. We're going to learn from this one today, and the next one will be even better. Okay? I'd like to introduce Sue Simonelli now. Sue works for us here in the office, and not only that, she's a very gifted woodworker. She has built cabinets, furniture, and lawn furniture, outdoor furniture, garden furniture, and she's going to be the one to do this tonight. So again, with no further ado, here's Sue. No further ado, here's Sue, huh?
And I'm not.
And I'm the straight man.
I want you to hide behind here, okay?
Okay.
And you got my cue cards and all that. I have a little story to tell you. It's loosely based on sorta a true story. The names have been changed to protect the guilty adults. It's a Christmas day at Grandpa Clay McFay's house. After the family was done eating their Christmas dinner, the granddaughters ran into the living room to play with the toys under the Christmas tree that Santa Claus had brought. Do they go to all the dollies? The many dollies that were put under there for them? Do they go to the stuffed toys? Like this dolly? The cute little dollies, which were many? Or the cute little pink stuffed animals? Which little girls absolutely love pink? No. A drill. A power drill. And they spent all afternoon playing with this power drill, taking out the screws out of toys and things all day long. A screwdriver and a hammer, which I think there's a little one here that has a hammer tonight, and she's a little girl. Which this is her on Christmas Day, by the way, with the drill.
And she did get the doll too.
And here's the little girls with their wrenches and stuff. All their little dollies and stuff. And here's the one with the hammer. And she brought, I saw her bring it tonight too, actually. We're going to put that there to look at it for a while. Even in the world of dollies and play dishes lurks young ladies longing to use, you guessed it, power tools. They're not just for the guys, as I found out myself. I love power tools. I have to admit, my most favorite aisles in the store is 11 and 12, which are tool section. I love it. It's my most favorite. I love to work in those aisles too. This is great. I do.
She's my biggest help there.
Yep. What's the matter then? Why?
I touched it, you broke it.
I didn't mean to
Okay,
break
let me
it.
try it again.
Lesson one, let the women do it right.
That's right.
Sorry.
Sorry, George, couldn't help
Yeah, I
I
know.
tried to get him to hang this for me today, but you know, like most guys, when you ask them to do something, you know, they just don't want to do
Be
it.
nice, my wife's in the third row.
You know, when I was a little girl, my
This is moving
grandfather.
again.
Who built that wall?
You know, George, I think I'm gonna fix this myself. You know, ladies, I have a good solution for this. How many have ever had this problem with your pictures not hanging right? They fall, they hang crooked, the wonderful little nail just won't stay there. Or, I bet you've never had this problem. You've asked your husband to hang it for you, and it's still on his to-do list. I tell you, I finally got tired of that, and I decided I was gonna fix those things myself. And I found something that works wonders. I'll show you what you do. There's some solutions that work great. For one thing, I quit using a screwdriver. I love these things. A power drill, battery. Every woman should have one of these. And 12 volt or higher. I'll tell you why a 12 volt or higher. Because when you're hanging anything on a wall, if you have to hang anything heavy, you're going to want to hang it into something that's got a stud wall. And if you use anything less than a 12 volt, you're going to go all day long. Whereas a little power is going to help you a lot better. So we're going to hang this up here. And I think we're just going to hang it. We want it more centered, kind of like where we had it before. So I don't think we're going to hang this one on the stud, George.
Okay.
I think I'm just going to hang this one right in the drywall. So,
Anywhere you want.
yeah, I think I'll do that. But let me tell you, it still is nice to make sure that it's hanging there so that when, like if you have a door over here and somebody comes in, you don't want your picture falling off the wall. So, I tell you, something that works great. It's a little wonder. Oh, by the way, this drill has what you call, George,
Yeah.
where are you?
Run.
It disappears
Yeah.
as soon as I give it to him.
It's got its own chuck in there. I don't know if any of you have ever seen the drills where you take the key, you have a key, and every time you want to change your bit in it, you have to put that crazy key in there every time. This one's already got one built on there so that you can reverse and you can put your bit in there, tighten it up. I think I'm going the wrong way. Nope. And then just tighten her in there. Like that, it's nice and tight, and it makes it so much easier to change your bits in there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I use these little, it's called a wallboard anchor. And what they do is you screw them in, they fit right, it's got a Phillips bit on there, fits right in there. And you put it right where you want it to be, which is, I'm gonna just go ahead and use the existing hole there. Put it right in there, and just screw it in like you're screwing in a screw, right like that. And it's so easy. It's the most wonderful thing they ever invented, I think. And then you just get a wood screw. Make sure that you get a wood screw that's gonna, there are so many different kinds of screws. But get a wood screw that you know is gonna make sure you match it up so it's gonna fit in there good. Nice and, and what it does when it screws in there, when you screw that in there, it causes these little things to kind of expand, and it grabs the drywall in there.
How much weight would that support then if you weren't in
Well,
this drywall?
I have, feel how heavy this is.
Okay.
It's not too heavy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not too
that's
heavy.
about what you,
Probably double this weight I have actually hung things with. And they have another size up with this.
okay.
A next size up, you can use a little larger screw that I have actually used. Yes, Liz?
How do you know if it's a wood screw?
A wood screw, when you go to the bins, here at the co-op in aisle 1 and 2, there's all sorts of bins, and they'll tell you that it's a wood screw or a steel screw. I don't know.
Wood screws are usually tapered,
At the end with
Yeah,
the point.
and they flare out.
Because I'm usually going to Rusty's workbench looking for a screw.
There's many kinds of wood screws.
Yeah,
Many
they're-
lengths, many sizes.
Don't they have a
Brass.
larger thread? or a
They do. They
larger
have
space?
coarser thread so that they hold
Yeah.
better. It all depends on the application. There's decking screws. You have decking screws there also.
Yeah, in fact, actually, I'm going to use a decking screw.
Or a
I
sheetrock
like these.
screw, as it
These are
were.
so, I mean, you could use these in just about anything, not just for decks, but I really like these. These are my friend.
Those are drywall screws, aren't they?
These are actually a deck screw. The drywall screw looks like these, but they are black
And they're coarser?
and
Same.
usually more coarse. The thing is with a drywall screw, if you want to run it into a stud, the tops of them break off a lot easier.
They do.
So you want to make sure, if that's all you have is a drywall screw, that you pre-drill your hole. If you're going into a stud wall, make sure you pre-drill the hole first really, really good. Otherwise, you'll just twist the top right off there and then you have to start over. Yeah.
And get the screw out.
Yeah.
Then you're really yelling at
And then your husband comes home or somebody comes home and says, how'd you get that hole in the wall? You know, honey, I put that in there because you did not do that honeybee thing on the list, right, George?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll just screw that in there real easy like. And I'll leave it out just maybe an eighth or a quarter of an inch, depending on how far out the. Then I've got a little hanger on the back of here. You know, they all have different ones. Sometimes you'll even get a picture that just has that. And you could actually, that's still usable. I mean, I can show you a little trick how I do that. And then you hang this, hang your picture. Now,
And I can't push it out from the back.
and if he does, I will have to pump him. Now, you want to level up your picture. Does everybody use the level? You know how to use levels? You got a bubble here, and this bubble is going to lay right between these two lines here, and you want to just make sure it's right between those two lines. And I have a package of this miracle stuff called Blue Stick. I mean, there's different brands of it. This stuff is great. Because I have a thing about crooked pictures, don't I, Linda?
She does.
Yeah. And this stuff works wonders. You just get a little dab of, 2 little dabs of this stuff. Little dabs. Each bottom corner. And what I'll do is I'll stick them on there, right behind on the bottom corner, on each side. Before I push it against the wall, I'll make sure it's nice and level, and then I'll push it up there, and there's your picture. Yes,
Can you use that blue stuff on any surface, or is it?
yeah, I'll show you what this stuff does. It's kind of neat. Now watch, it'll probably do something goofy on me today, just because I said that.
She says that's level.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's
Yes.
way crooked.
Does it look crooked from here? I think it's because you
Might be the
look,
drywall
I
is.
think the drywall
Yeah.
might be.
Yeah.
yeah,
The
I
one
won't
table
tell you
is
who
higher
made
than-
that, but,
Oh, that's it.
yeah.
Right.
One table's
Yeah.
higher than the
Yep.
other.
Okay, now, if this stuff kind of smears on there like that, that's that blue stuff, you can actually just go like that and it comes right off. You can
Even a
use
painted
it.
wall.
Yeah, it's really great stuff. I mean, I use this stuff all the time. All my pictures have this because, well, I used to have these 4 little kids and slamming doors, running through the house. This is so nice. I like street pictures. You got anything to say, George?
And what aisle is that in?
This stuff, 16. I was 16.
She's gonna check.
You know what?
It'll drive her nuts.
Yeah, well. There. Okay, now it's exactly level. How does it look now? Still crooked?
Just put the level on the drywall, you'll find that
Okay,
it's wrong.
watch. How's that?
Sue, I'm not picking up the tape.
We're okay with it.
Okay, George wants to tell you a little bit about this drill. This is a really cool drill. too.
It's just a Black & Decker 12-volt, plugs the battery, it's charged from the handle. Just a simple plug-in. If you ever do need to replace the battery, that's how you replace the battery. Doesn't have the big, as you've probably seen, I know you've seen them, the big chargers. It's just simple cord. It's variable speed, You don't have to try and guess what speed you need to use for like a spade bit or a boring bit or screws or anything like that. It's Smart Select. You select what you think you need, and there you go. And
Good. And one thing about
if you want
Black
to show them how to let them
Yeah.
chuck it up, that's fine too.
one thing that's cool about Black & Decker is they're very reasonable.
They are reasonable.
And I think they have a pretty good warranty too. Would anybody like to try these driveways? See how easy they are?
Somebody want to come up and try it?
I do, but I don't want to make a.
You can.
We're all friends here.
Yes.
Hey, I had to get up here to start this thing. Come on. Come on up. Let's give her a hand. We want to Yeah, just go ahead and just kind of poke it in there first. There you go.
Anywhere you want.
Yeah, never had success. Yeah.
See?
Nope.
That's all right. That's all right. See, I can't even hold on to it. So.
Use the blue set.
Good one.
Maybe I should leave.
So I needed more pressure.
Sweet, huh?
Yeah, yeah, just a little.
And then go ahead and just see how it is when you probably want to kind of hold on to the screw just a little bit with your other hand down the bottom just a little to kind of hold it in there straight. Doing great. There, see?
Very good.
Perfect.
Very
You ready
good.
to hang some
Yes.
You guys want us to try it?
See, it's gonna be real easy because all of you will do better than that.
So it has pictures to select? So
Yes.
You don't have to know what you have, you can look at the picture.
So it is
George, what is that, George?
That's called the Smart Select. What it
Okay.
is you don't have to guess. Most of the other ones, they go 1 through 16, 1 through 20. That's how you change it. Okay, so you might not know what you're going to use. If I've got a 3/4 inch spade bit, which I should probably brought up before we start talking like that, it's okay. Anyway, I don't want to go too fast. I don't want to go too slow. Well, there's a spade bit right on there, or there's a screw right on there
Oh, okay.
that shows.
Can you pass it around? We can
Yes.
look at it? I don't. I just usually put screws.
I know.
There's different kinds of anchors
This is
that are
what you're
really
referring to
cool.
spade bit?
That's a spade bit.
Oh,
And it just changes.
George, show me, grab me.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
that'd
You
be
know where
great.
they're at.
Yeah.
I do.
There's different kind of anchors that you could use. This is a toggle bit. This is for like heavier stuff that you're hanging on the wall and you want to get a really good grip. What you do is you drill a hole big enough for this whole thing to push through. It grabs onto the wall like that, and then you tighten up the screw. You're pulling and tightening up the screw at the same time, so it grabs the back of the wall. This is the drive anchor, and it kind of does the same thing, which I'll show you later when I have the drill. Or you have this kind of an anchor, which is a ribbed anchor.
How's that different than the white one?
That one you have to drill a hole to put it.
Yeah, you drill the hole,
Oh.
and then you kind of hammer it in. You want to make the hole just big enough to hammer this into.
So what's the advantage to doing one over the other?
Less you eliminate a step. And Sue likes this one better.
Yeah.
These are nice too, but I'm so much. What do you think, George?
I
What have you
like
found?
the white ones better because they're easier to use. The green ones. Now, if by chance you happen to drill your hole a little too big, You go to run your screw in there, what that screw does is it goes in there, it separates the back like that, and it's supposed to hold. Now, if you haven't got that hole right, as you try to put your screw in there, this spins, and you just get angry. That's all you need.
Or you put the screw through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like experience.
And I don't even.
Yeah.
On the top of the drill is number 1. Is there a number 2?
Yes.
What are the different numbers for?
Yeah, one's slower speed, two's faster speed. There's also a reverse and forward, and I will show you those too.
Every brand has its different things. Thank you. Like my stuff is DeWalt. That's only because that's what I have right now. You know. But if I was to guess, I like this.
Isn't that
This
thing
is
handy?
nice. In fact,
And they work really well.
I mean, you know, George, this is
No, that's part of the giveaway tonight,
this
young
would
lady.
fit in my car.
Yeah, I know. You still gotta get your distributor back from me.
I don't know if I can get this to work or not. Probably not. But what happens on this kind of an anchor? You drill a hole just big enough for this to go through the wall. You push this thing in here, in the hole in the wall. You tighten this up, the screw, and as you do, there's these little fingers. You see these kind of how that is? Those things on the side. This thing works. It instead of being like that, they work up like that. They scrunch up towards the wall and they grab the back of the wall like that. Yeah, as you screw it in, this whole unit comes up, expands, and grabs on there. This type is really nice when, like I've used the, and then there's a little thing on the top. It's like a barb that grabs onto the wall to make sure this thing doesn't spin. I've used these when I've put in like a bathroom cabinet or something.
Oh, they'll be
Yeah.
on the wall.
Yeah,
So something heavy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Got any questions about the drills and that kind of?
The drill's got a forward and a reverse. It's forward, of course. Reverse, it's right there. Real handy. Oops, that one's not gonna work. There we go. Okay.
Does it come with a center?
It comes with a bit. One bit in there.
That's a Phillips and a square?
Yeah, this is the Phillips and the straight on the side of the Black & Decker.
As far as the speed goes, is that just a preference on whatever you're doing?
Yeah, it really kind of is. Let's see if I can get it changed.
Yeah.
When it goes to drill mode, it changes to a 2.
Oh, it automatically changes for you?
Yes.
Oh, you don't have, oh, okay.
So it works out really well.
Oh, okay.
I quit using a screwdriver years ago. The only thing I use a screwdriver on is when I'm fixing my vacuum cleaner. I just love.
I don't even know how to use a screwdriver anymore. That's all I use.
See, she's got the drill. I gotta show you this. The drill. So they're not just meant for guys. So what I thought maybe a fun thing to show you was, how many of you have ever wanted
Hi, you.
dermal abrasion? Have ever wanted your husband or significant other to put up a shelf for you? And you said, please, honey, I just want a little shelf. And he says, okay, I'll put it on my list. And you're still waiting, still waiting, still waiting. Oh, I'm telling you tonight, you don't have to wait any longer. It's not that hard to do. So I'm going to show you how to put up a triple shelf. Made easy. So I'm going to show you two different ways. One is we're going to anchor one side to the stud, which is when they build walls, they have the 2x4s, you know, behind the wall. And the normal is every 24 inches, they will center a stud. That's what you said this was, right? Every 24 inches, yeah.
From that side.
So if you're putting up something really heavy on your wall, that's gonna have a lot of weight on it, you're gonna want to mount it on a stud wall. I mean, anchors are nice, but it's to your advantage to be able to have them on a stud. However, if one end of your shelf is just not gonna span it, you know, or it's gonna, you don't want it mounted in a corner, you know, you can, there's ways to fix it, but if you can at least have one side on a stud wall, that's great. So, we can either spend all day with a hammer and a nail trying to find the stud wall, or going like that, you know, let's say this is all sheetrock, you have paint, and you're trying to find where's the stud wall, so you're going like this. And if you're in an apartment, that's not too good because the neighbors don't like that. So you're going like that. So you finally think you found it, you hit it with a hammer, and it goes all the way, you know, goes through. So you do it again. Pretty soon you have 3 holes in your wall. What to do, what to do. Finally you find it, but you know, you shouldn't have to do that. So there is a tool that some guy who's making a lot of money now from this invention invented a stud finder. And I know all of us women would like to have one, but we have one that actually finds the stud in the wall. George, do you have the stud finder here somewhere?
This is put in your bag of tricks.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, I don't know. Okay, this is a stud finder. How much do these run, George?
I think that one's $10.99.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. It's pretty inexpensive.
Neat
Takes
little
one
thing.
9-volt battery.
So you take this, turn it on.
Hold it on.
You hold it flat, yeah. It's got like this little pad on there. Hold it on your wall. And it didn't work for Sue. What's I gotta do?
You gotta hold it on.
Oh, okay.
No stud, no stud, no stud, no stud, no stud, no stud.
And that's one
Get there.
edge. I'm gonna mark that edge, George.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Yeah, something wrong.
Okay. Look, you got it slammed.
There.
Okay, there's one.
That's the thing.
I'm just gonna make that center. Okay,
No, that's one side.
one side. Okay.
Okay. Hang on. We're supposed to stop on that. There.
My goodness, look at it.
So right there.
And then this is the other edge.
Yep. That's it.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. So the center of this is the stud. So in the center of here is where we're gonna anchor this. I'm gonna use this bracket. I would there's all sorts of different brackets you can get. You probably want to get a fancier one. I wanted to use a white one, but we just didn't have any. They all sold out. So, but you know, a fancy one to put up there. So we're gonna use this one. I'm gonna put this up here for you. And I think I'll drill the bottom one first. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this here.
I have a question.
Sure.
You have the long end out and the short end down?
Mhm.
I thought it was the other way around, so tell me why I'm wrong.
On this particular shelf, we're just gonna put on something light.
Okay,
You could, I think you can actually do either one.
okay.
But this particular, we had a little issue when we picked out these brackets, and we don't know why it happened, but with the screws.
Well, that makes me feel better.
Yeah, yeah.
When you're married to an engineer, you never get a simple answer.
If you're gonna have something really heavy on there, you're gonna want to have the beefier side there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
most
it
definitely.
depends on what you're putting up
Correct,
and the weight.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Whereas we're just gonna put up like maybe just maybe we'll just lay something like that up. But maybe you're just gonna put up a basket with some silk flowers or something, but it's some, like that. But if you're using storage, I would use it. If you're like putting fruit up in your fruit room, I would even use a different kind of a bracket. I mean, you can use these, but something beefier would be much better for you. We have some that are kind of like these, but they're more plain and they have a flat metal thing. They're good solid. They're really nice for that thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to center that right there. I'm going to mark my bottom, where my bottom nail is going to go. And then I want the other one to be, measure. So, I'm going to put it so it's right. We'll put it like about there. So we're going to, just for demonstration purposes, we're going to put them about. About 13 inches, just so we know. I'm going to make a spot here. Now, when you're hanging any kind of shelf, wood is something that's real important about hanging shelves. And you're going to look at it. Level. Yes. Make sure they're level. So, we have a nice level here that's a 24-inch level. So, we'll get from the bottom, pull down there to this line that I drew over here. And by the way, the magic erasers, have you ever heard of those magic erasers? Mr. Clean magic erasers, you can get them in the cleaning departments of any store. It's a white, it comes in a white spongy thing. They take off pencil marks. So if you have those and you're working on a project, don't worry about your pencil marks because you can just take them right off of there. They're great. Okay, so we want to make sure we have a level mark. Okay. This is when you want about 5 hands. Okay, so the bottom one's going to go there. Okay, and then I'm going to pre-drill a hole for this one because we are going into a stud wall. And you want to use a drill bit to pre-drill a hole when you're going into a stud. It's always the best. And pre-drill the hole so it's just a little bit smaller than the screw. Yeah. This one actually could be just a little smaller, but I wanted to make sure it works really good for you so we don't have to keep going back and drilling it. So this is just a little thinner than this. All right. Now which mark? There's 2 marks here, George. The bottom one? Okay. Thank you.
Ow.
How do you feel about yourself?
Want some air out.
Okay. Now this one is just in plain drywall, so we're going to put in not the big one, but the little one. Oh, also too, if you want to, you can pre-drill a little tiny hole first before you do these, so you're not wobbly. That makes it easier too. Yeah. Okay, so now we've got that one. Some people do these a little different. Everybody who builds and makes things, they have just a little different style the way they do things. I always like to make sure the bottom one is set. I will set the bottom one before I do these, so that when I go to mark the top holes, they are, then I get a more accurate measure, other than just laying it there and then marking the holes, you know. This will hold it in place better, and I can also level it up. That's going to go right into the anchor. And then, what I'll do is I'll set that up there, and I will kind of adjust these things. Make sure they're nice and flat, hold them against the wall. Good, hold that flat. Then I'll mark the holes. Mark the holes. And you can just kind of pull those down. And I'm only going to put one anchor on the top of this one, because that'll be plenty. This side. And George is going to make sure our wall doesn't fall down on us.
I know who built it.
Okay. This is still in our stud wall here, so we're going to pre-drill those. Sorry to have my back to you, but sometimes it's better to get. It really helps if you make sure you get your aim it as straight in as you can. And then change your bit. Okay. It'd help if I could see what I was doing with these glasses. Okay. There's that one. Then this one I can just screw it in. This is kind of an extra help. It doesn't necessarily have to have an anchor unless you got something, like I said, extra heavy on there and you can anchor all three of them. Then you just center your shelf. There's places under these little things you can actually screw them in there. We won't do that tonight, but then you got your shelf. You can do that yourself. And now let's say your shelf, let's say you've got a board and it's way too long and you got to cut it off. What to do? You don't really want to use your skill saw because you know either your husband won't let you or it's just too big and bulky. And I tell you, this is
Why I
where
have my own.
wonderful.
She can't lift mine.
Yeah, I tell you, there's nothing worse than the sound of a skill saw to me. It just makes my teeth, but they are nice to have. So I'm going to let George tell you about the jigsaw. These are a great little thing to have. I think they're a good thing for a lady to have for cutting things that need to be cut, especially shelving.
Okay, this is a Black & Decker. Again, it's a mate to that. It's a Smart Select. Now it's got selections over here for various woods, scrolling, straight cuts, end cuts, PVC, and metal. We'll cut all those things. Okay?
And you get different blades.
It's got different, well, you can get different blades. It comes with one blade right in here. The way to load this, there's a guide wheel at the bottom that the blade should set in. You lift up on the little toggle here. Blade will go up in there, snug. You release the toggle, riding in the wheel as a guide won't come out. Very simple to use. These also adjust at the feet. I don't know if we'll get into that tonight. But
Yeah.
you can cut angles. It's a 45. It's graduated in 0, 15, 30, and 45, both ways.
I have used them to build picket fences before. I didn't have a skill saw. I was stuck in town without a skill saw and had to remake a picket fence, and that's what I used.
Works very well.
Worked great.
With different blades, this is a wood blade. With different blades, you can cut metal, you can cut PVC, the bimetal, which is that's what I use when I have to use one for rough cutting, because I can cut through nails or what have you. So
Okay, do we have some electricity?
we have some power. I got the
Okay.
current bush right here.
Speaking of power, I have a little rule that I use, and that is, the bigger the noise it makes, the bigger my glasses are gonna be, because I don't like sawdust in my eyeballs. Because even your glasses sometimes, they just don't keep all the sawdust out. So it's always nice to have some. They have some that actually, we have some here at the that we sell at the co-op that surround your eyes, surround your glasses, that are nice. And you're gonna want them. Skill saws are notorious for sawdust. I mean, they'll just, you think they won't shoot it all over, but they do. And then you've got sawdust in your eyes, and it's miserable. And also, skill saws are notorious for the dust. Jigsaw's not so much for dust. So if you have allergies and stuff, you're gonna want to use a dust mask. I mean, it's just common sense. You don't want to expose yourself to stuff that's just gonna make you feel miserable. So dust mask. It's not embarrassing. It's I use them all the time. And gloves, you know, like if you're working with wood that's got a lot of splinter, don't forget your gloves. Otherwise, you're going to be spending the night not soaking in a nice warm tub. You're going to be digging slivers out. And that's not fun. Okay. How many of you use... Yes. Yes.
Also, the safety glasses, we do have some bifocal types and some magnifying types. So sometimes you don't have to wear your glasses with your work.
Yeah. In fact, I've got a pair on my desk that I'm going to be buying that I'm looking forward to trying.
They are really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got optics in my welding hood. I have to have them.
Yeah. Yeah, they're great. So, this is, you know, George, I really do think.
You probably couldn't have put your name in the bucket, could you?
No, they wouldn't tell me about the bucket, to tell you the truth. But this is a speed square. These are great. Everybody needs to have a tape measure. Every woman should have a tape measure. A speed square is great too. It's got an edge on here, and it will give you a 90-degree angle on a board. This edge here, all you do is you put it on your board like that, and you've got a perfect 90-degree flat edge there. So what more could, you know, this is just great.
And it'll also do a 45. which
Show
is
me
it.
how that, now that's one I've never tried.
There's your 90.
Oh, yeah,
That's my 45.
great. How about a 33?
I can do a 33.
Numbers are on there?
Good job!
The numbers are on there?
Yes, they are.
So how do you line it up though?
This is the pivot point. This will be your pivot point. So, and you might be able to see all the common cuts, top cuts, hip valley. These are the degrees. So, my point's right here. This is my pivot. See. So, as it pivots up like this, the edge of that board, we'll show you. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So, you know this is the edge. This is the side I want to grade. If I wanted a 33, That's 33. Right
So
there.
where's the 33 out on the book?
Oh, here, let me see your pencil.
Okay.
30, 35, 33.
Oh, so you line up at the edge,
Yeah.
the same side, the same edge of the board.
There's my
Oh, there it is.
There's my 90 right there. Everybody see that? There's my 40. That's 45 degrees.
And what aisle are those in?
Those are on aisle 12.
Yes. Aisle 12.
Very handy, very inexpensive.
Oh, yeah.
Very inexpensive.
My son who works construction says he would not be without one of these.
And I worked for many, many years, and I still have them.
Yeah. So we're gonna cut this board here just because we want. So we have a line here. So we wanna,
Closer to the edge.
no, this is actually okay. So, one thing that I like to do is I'll line up my blade and then I'll push my measuring thing over here. Now I can either hold that with my hand, like that. However, if I have a wider board, that's gonna be really hard to hold it in place. So I use clamps, which holds it like that. You wanna clamp it from 2 ways. Then you just give it a good cut. Ta-da! Who would like to try this?
Anybody like to try?
So why are you putting the T-square, I mean,
As a guide.
Yeah.
That way this foot of the saw can run along that speed square, and it'll help you maintain a square cut.
Otherwise, you could go like this.
Which these
Or-
saws are designed to do. They're designed to be a scroll.
Yeah. And lots of times, the longer the blade is, too, you have, I mean, it's, yeah, you could just swim all over the place if you want to.
And the one thing I would like to, and she's pointed to this quite a bit, safety is the number one concern. Always be mindful of where they've got the scars. Mindful of where your legs are, your fingers are at all times, you know.
Cord.
Yeah, your cord.
Yeah.
Because it hurts.
Yeah.
And, you know, we know somebody who taught me this. It's like 10 years from now, 15 years from now, you'd like to be able to pull up to the drive-in and go, I want 10 hamburgers, this many. Not 10 hamburgers. Or 10. It doesn't work.
Working here at the co-op, we have noticed more men that have the ends of their fingers cut off. It's kind of creepy, but you know, you know they're construction. Okay, I would like you to try some of this.
Anybody like to try
equipment
this
if you'd
the
like to,
jigsaw?
or anything.
If you did it at a 45 and then put the jigsaw at the angle, can you make a picture frame?
Yes, you certainly
Can you show
can.
us how that works?
Yeah.
Sure.
I would.
You want to do it? You want me to?
I'll let you do it because you're more familiar with this particular. I'm learning too in some of this thing.
Are you guys giving the square away?
Well, heavens, yes.
I didn't see one on the table, so I just asked them.
Let's go this way. Yeah, let's do this way.
So talk to me about what you're doing.
Okay, what I'm doing is I am getting a 45-degree angle because to make a square, you need 90 degrees, right? So half of 90 degrees is, of course, 45.
So how do you take into consideration you've got the width of the blade? How does that go?
Okay, so if you make a line,
Yeah, go ahead.
you can either take the line or leave the line. I like to leave the line. So when I'm done, I'm going to run right alongside that line so that I can still see it.
But if you're cutting it for somebody, he better tell you, huh? You don't need-
Yeah.
Yeah.
This board's a little rough, but we're gonna go ahead and use it anyway. Okay, just for that.
That's okay. Hubby wouldn't take care of the project for us, so we had to do it.
Okay, so now we got our
Sorry, I didn't
45
mean to
degree, right? Oh, my board broke. But 245s make a 90. So it could be stretched out there. Wish I hadn't broke that,
But
but
you can make your own picture frame.
How do you hold them together?
to hold them together
Yeah, for a picture frame. How do you
to make them.
nail them?
Yep, you can nail them, glue them. We sell the glue. We also sell clamps that glue it, that hold it.
Corner clamp. There's also a little gizmo on aisle 1A, and it looks, it's like a little metal, piece of metal, and it's shaped kind of like a waffle.
I can't get that figured out.
Yeah,
I used
know.
to remember
I guess
watching.
evidently they lay them
They're
across there,
drives.
and yeah,
You drive them in like a nail.
yeah, yeah. I haven't tried them yet, but I'm going to one of these days.
Any other questions? Anybody like to try this out?
You have to be mindful of which way the grain goes. You want to talk about that?
Well, you know, it depends. You don't, if you got a good sharp saw and you, it'll cut it. The grain isn't really that big of an issue as long as you glue and take care of it.
Yeah.
Because it will hold. Grain comes in when a lot more when you're ripping and what have you, because the grain will, as you rip a board, what ripping is going with the grain. When you rip it, that grain wants to close back in or separate. That's where you have to really be mindful about the grain.
Or you have a very dull blade. It is
Yeah,
terrible.
it's a fight.
So it's just a sharp blade all you need to do to rip it? Or do you have to do anything special?
But there is such thing as a cross-cutting blade and a ripping blade. That is more into skill saws. This one right here, this wood blade right here, will rip. This wood blade here will scroll.
Great. I like that. Minus
The thing with scrolling, changing your direction, it's just patience. You just let the saw do the work and move it slowly. That's all you gotta do. You'll see,
You changed
not only-
settings for all that?
what's that?
Did you change a setting on there?
I didn't, no,
Okay.
I didn't need to. Patience, that's all I had to have was patience. Okay? You can see, we were talking about the grain, see how that separated? This is the size of my blade, of course, right here where I made that. But I went with the grain wanted to do this on me. So that's where your mind, yes ma'am?
Is there a narrower blade that you would use for scrolling?
Yes, there is. There is. And with finer teeth too. This one is just an all-purpose, all-around wood blade. So. Anything else?
When you buy the blades, does it tell you what they're good for?
Yes.
As far as
And
the
probably
scrolling
people
technique.
before will tell you.
Yes, and we have plenty of people here that will tell you what you need to know, help you with any project you want, and we will do our utmost to make it as painless and fun as we can.
We can special order things for you too,
Yes.
if we're out of something particular.
Anybody want to try this out?
And if you do want a skill saw, buy the littler ones. That's
Yes.
a great big one.
Yes, yes.
She hates my saws. Thank you folks very much for coming.
Yes.
It was a very good
Thank
pleasure,
you.
and I hope you stick around. We've got a drawing to go here.